Sunday's coming very quickly, and I want to give you a little preview about what's coming up on Sunday, July the 3rd. This is the time of year that we're beginning our journey through the Old Testament and looking at some of the highlight stories between now and right before Christmas. We'll be taking this journey through different parts of the Old Testament, and of course beginning with Genesis. And this year we're looking at a very important story for us, looking again at the story of Adam and Eve, just like we did last year at this time. But this time thinking about chapter 3, which tells us about how God's great plan somehow didn't turn out as beautiful as it seemed to have been designed in terms of how human beings relate to the world God placed us in. And this whole story has a very important part to play in our Christian teaching, but it's sometimes very confusing. Maybe you've heard it explained before that somebody said, the whole world suffers, every generation, a separation from God because of what Adam and Eve did. Have you ever heard something like that? Now, some people, I suppose, they hear that and say, oh, well, that makes sense. Let me give you a little true confession. When I first heard that, I was like, that's not fair. Excuse me? That billions and billions of people would suffer for thousands and thousands of years because one fellow went and ate some fruit from the forbidden tree instead of the good tree. Does that really make sense? It's very confusing, isn't it? And yet it's very important to understand how this story does fit in with our teaching about what we need from God. And so say a little prayer for me, because that's what we're going to jump on tomorrow, Sunday, July the 3rd, as we think together about this important story and what it teaches us about our faith and what it teaches us about how we find wholeness with God. It really is an important story, and I think you'll understand it a little better after tomorrow.